Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology.
Hello all, this is Dr. Priya Kumari, Assistant Professor, Satyabama College of Physiotherapy, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Today I am going to talk about emerging trends in neurorehabilitation, part 3. In this particular presentation, I will be covering what are the, when we use these emerging trends, why we should follow the evidence-based approach, what can be the legal and ethical issues, and what is the future scope and clinical implications of the emerging technologies in neurorehabilitation. Evidence-based practice, as we know, because we are dealing with the patients, as and when the technologies come in the market, we need to have the evidence-based approach. There should be supporting researches stating the effect or the benefit of technology on the patients before we advise this to the patients. So the thorough investigation through research has to be done. So in integrating the individual clinical expertise with the best available external clinical evidence from systematic research has to be done before giving it to the before prescribing any kind of technology. Now, what is this evidence-based approach? We need to have first, if there is any kind of neurorehabilitation or neuro-related issues, or if there is a question or a problem, we need to find out the supporting evidence or the technological, based on the technology which we are going to choose for the therapy. Related to that, we have to get the evidences first. Then we need to critically analyze whether it's effective or not effective. We have to compare the previous findings, the research gap, the limitation, the challenges, what the particular technology had on the patients before actually start practicing. And if it is safe and it helps in the recovery of the patients, we can integrate into the clinical practice. After we are integrating, we all need to evaluate the performance of the patients, whether there is improvement in patients' recovery, whether it has speed up, or what is accuracy, how much time it takes, or whether it is advisable to give such kind of technology or customize the exercise using that technology for the patients or not. Now, there is a need for integration of research and clinical practice. We should use the standard outcome measures. The patient's constant progress should be documented, and these we have to adhere to the proper protocols and guidelines when we are giving the technology or designing a exercise protocol for the patients. Then we should choose the best practice which can be beneficial for the patients. Continuous updation is required for the therapist and also for the patients. We need to educate them how the technology is going to help them in recovery, or how much useful it is for longer run. With the help of this evidence-based, we can also have the idea of collaborative research where we can incorporate the other areas into the rehabilitation, into health sector, so that we can maximally benefit the patients. Whenever we are designing the exercises, we need to keep in mind the patient's preferences. So evidence-based practice in neurorehabilitation also involves incorporating the patient's values and preferences before designing the exercise protocol or using any kind of technology for neurorehabilitation. Now, when we follow these evidences, we have to focus on the outcome-driven adjustments. That means the results what we get from the patient's improvement, where their recovery process we have to keep in mind. And the clinicians who are going to offer, or the therapists who are going to train the patients or treat the patients, they have to be well expert in that particular technology, in that particular exercise customization before giving it to the patients. We have to take care of the patient's safety, their limitations, their challenges, their requirements, and their affordability has to be kept in mind. And this technology, this evidences also helps us to keep us constantly update ourselves about the developments happening around in the neurorehabilitation field. At the same time, any technology cannot be used for the patient's treatment. It has to be balanced between the innovation and evidences. We need to be thorough with the evidences before applying it for the patients. Innovation has to be, technology, it should be user friendly, understandable by the patients. It should have real impact on the patient's growth and improvement. Then only it can be applied to the patient's recovery. Now, clinical implication of this technology in neurorehabilitation. As I told before, technology is like an amplifier. It can just add to the existing conventional methods. It will help the therapist to gain more accuracy and speedy recovery of the patients, and can the exercise protocols can be made more engaging, more motivating, and beneficial both for the therapist as well as for the patients. It can motivate, if this gaming, for example, a game exercise can motivate the patients to get involved on those kind of exercise. And as we fix the targets and goals, and we increase the complexity with rewards, they are motivated to achieve the goals and come up with better results in form of speedy recovery and adhering to the exercise regime. The following 5 themes representing experiences of technology use: perceived usefulness, technology design, social interaction, integration with service, and suggested improvements to enhance the uptake of the technology. Reporting of uptake and use of neurorehabilitation technologies in clinical practice is limited. We can work on increasing that, finding out the research gaps and working on those technologies, how it can be beneficial for the patients even more, but keeping in mind the values and ethical and legal issues related to that. The synthesis provided comprehensive knowledge of barriers to and facilitators of uptake to be considered in future protocols, including a steep learning curve required to engage with technology, a need for supportive organizational culture, a need for user involvement in the both design and development. So we have to educate the patients to the core about the usage of the technology, the benefits it's going to have, and how it's easy to handle, or what all the difficulty levels or the challenges they might face. So both we have to, the therapist as well as the patient has to be educated thoroughly. Now, what can be the legal and ethical considerations when we use this technology? We have to keep in mind the robot rights, planning and execution of the technology, how much it can be included or it can be beneficial for the customization of the exercises for the patients. But we have to be very clear with the transparency about the usage rights and accountability. Legal considerations has to be kept in mind before incorporating any technology into the exercise regime. Ethical issues which has to be considered is patient autonomy and informed consent. The patients should be priorly informed that what particular technology we are going to use for the assistance, how much effect it can have on their recovery process. We have to warn them about the over dependency on the device, the usage time, and what can be the effects. All these things has to be explained to the patient. Equity and accessibility. About reliability, many of these technologically devices are still in the research stage. So first we have to check about their reliability and before giving it to the patients. We need to also consider about the psychological and social impact it can create, the technology can create. There should be ethical use of the artificial intelligence. Ethical research and development has to be done. And we should explain the patient about the long-term consequences of this technology, what can have, and what can be the frequency, dosage, use of this technology, and how regular basis, at what intensity, what frequency they can use this for their benefit. Now, what this technology is having impact. Limitation of these conventional therapies is often provide insufficient treatment in terms of intensity and repetition. So these technologies are adding like a assistance, so that it can be the motor function if you want to achieve, it can be more accurate. The repetitions can be to a particular count without the therapist or the patient getting tired. Rehabilitation has been revolutionized with the use of robots, mobile apps, telerehabilitation, virtual reality, wearable motion tracking system, and many other technologies, along with which much research has been carried out. These assistive technologies provide drastically improved in the long run, and they are integral to provide adequate training sessions required by the neurological patients. But whenever they are being used by the patients, these technologies, supervision by the physiotherapist is required. And though these technologies are taking over, along with with the involvement of physiotherapists in designing the customized exercise. Still, lot more research has to be done. Lot more supporting documents, evidences, researches has to be gone through before giving the implication or before implying it to the patients. Now, what can be the challenges which we face when we use the technology? Like the cost effectiveness. Sometimes it might be useful, but the cost may not allow the patient to use because of the heavy cost. So cost effectiveness, then specialized training is required, then ethical considerations has to be kept in mind, clinical acceptance has to be there, sufficient data to satisfy the critics, therapist attitude towards technology. The intricacies of computer are not exposed to the therapist. Sometimes even the patients may not be that computer friendly or technology friendly, and they might be reluctant to accept the device or accept the technology. They would prefer going for the conventional methods. So these can be the challenges which the therapist can face. So there is a technology gap. That's the reason the therapists and the patients both, they need to be updated about the technology, about the current trends, about the benefits as well as the challenges and limitations. VR interface are challenged as they were not designed for medical equipment. So sometimes these VR heads, we have to use the same for the multiple patients. So for the hygiene it can be a challenge, but with the revisions and keeping in mind the health sector, it can be improvised. And sometimes this technology also becomes a challenge because it's not designed for the special needs that has to be kept in mind before advising it to the patients. Then what is the future scope? As this is a digital world, the patients and the therapists both, we have to be aware about the technology and the technological development of in the neurorehabilitation field. A steep learning curve required to engage with technology, constant learning, constant doing researches, innovations, it has to be incorporated into the neurorehabilitation. We have to find out the gaps, what are there, and clinical implementation of technology is required. A lot of collaborative research needs to be done, not only in the nationally but global collaborations for the benefit of the patients. So at last, you'd say that we need to be updated with the trend, all the technology, all the development happening, so that we can constantly benefit to the patients and help them in recovering faster. We have to improve patients' outcome. We have to reduce the recovery time. These technologies will enhance the quality of life of the patients, and we have to incorporate these innovations, ideas into the treatment of the patients. Thank you.